course, that's time allocated just for test points at any stage in our 2 visits to Barcelona over the course of the season. So he's jumped out of the Pertamina Enduro Ducati garage and found his new home once again, Jorge Martin, as he heads back out on circuit for another stint. He's been busy starting the defence of his World Championship, 63rd lap. He's about to complete right now, is Martin.
And by the beast so far today, of course, he's lost a little bit of track time and most importantly lost one of his 2 motorcycles with that crash down at turn 5. But the beast back out there and setting his best lap time of the day with just over an hour remaining. Yeah,
and already dishing out some massive apologies to his new KTM mechanics, because I'm not really sure that there was much left to salvage after that crashed RC16 when he lost the front down the hill into turn 5 right here, because the temperatures will be cooling off considerably. Pretty much the whole of the last corner now is sitting in shade. And of course now you see Jorge Martin, so you really are going to have to be wary, mindful of tyre temperature, particularly in the front on the left hand side, particularly going through turns 2 and 5. Just rolling out of this current lap, Martin, now into turn 10.
Yeah, clear visor now for Jorge Martin, which with the ever lower sunlight here is quite useful and quite necessary in these kind of conditions. What's Jorge Martin done so far today? Lap-wise, 62 laps he's done on board that factory Aprilia, so we're talking 2.5 race distances worth he's done on that bike. As an Bastianini has just set another personal best, a 140 flat, and we ride on board and look into the eyes of the new MotoGP World Champion.
A little bit longer. Oh no, we'll pick him back up now going into turn 4.
Moved it around the different riders, and all of the riders, can you believe, got off powerful engines, especially bottom wise. So what they looked at the data when they saw, but all of the riders said exactly the same. It accelerates really good. It's fast. They accelerated forward without breaking the control, and wow, look at those stones flicking up there. And so the rider had less throttle position. So a slower bike, and he's having less throttle position, he's going faster in a straight line. So basically giving, and then the traction control doesn't have to come in, and then it comes in and the rider opens the throttle more, but the bike's going, basically less torque, less power, and the thing accelerated forward fast. And I think the last few years, the paddock is learning that, because more power isn't power. Obviously, in those last guys out, and then until 4th gear, then you'll see, okay, the thousands are faster second half of the straight.
Yeah, that for the last 2 or 3 years, when you speak to any rival of Ducati, any rider that's not on a Ducati, they'll always tell you it's mechanical and electronic rear grip where the Bologna factory really has an advantage. We've heard from Fabio Di Gianantonio in the commentary box here today, and we were asking him, where do you feel like the GP25 can take a step forward? He didn't mention anything about rear grip coming off the corners. The Ducati is so good. He just said, you know, they've noticed, Gigi Linear said this himself yesterday in a media scrum, that some of the other bikes, in particular the KTMs, have crept level, if not a little bit ahead in terms of top speed compared to the Ducati, and a little bit more mid-corner speed is what they're going to be searching for in Borgo Panigale over the course of the winter.
Which these, the Aprilia is probably the leader in that, isn't it? With the confidence in the front end, it sounds like, but also their aero and the way the chassis works, the Aprilia corner speed-wise is awesome, isn't it?
And the Ducati we know is awesome as well at just managing the rear tyre, preserving the grit for the latter stage of the Grand Prix. I remember, well, if you only got to look at in the early part of this season, the Aprilias were competitive and beating the Ducatis in the sprint. You know, when you've got half races, have got the performance, not just over the sprint distance, but over the full Grand Prix distance as well, which is something that, of course, data, knowledge, experience, and an army of 8 riders does help you out. But they really did nail it, Ducati, in that area.
It's something else watching the Aprilias on, you know, the 2 new riders, one of these, well, basically Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin. Compared to Aleix, they pick the bike thin, but also it looks like if you do the V like what was it the French do to the English, you know, like like you're pulling a bow back, you know, the long bow. So if you do that one finger above the other, 2 of those, so there's 4 fingers going out to the steering head. It's like 4 fingers of aluminium heading out to the steering head, and it must be quite strong, you know, as part of the stress member, but it's truly amazing how the Ducati have developed that chassis and how soft it is without the motor in there.
Smart old cookie is old Gigi Linear, isn't he, in all of his tech boffins. Back at Ducati, Jorge Martin then looks like he's going to go all the way down to 5 p.m. checker flag time here in Barcelona.
So all the riders getting back on. The Pecco was on GP24. That's the 20 RS-GP 24. You know, so the base bike he started the day on, which they must be after the day.
Pit lane.
Yeah, he is. Day done for Fabio. Well, year done for Fabio. P2 on the timing, still with a little bit left. Overall, happy with the day?
Yeah, quite happy. I mean, we cannot really reflect on the result of today, but I think that we found a little bit our direction. As I think everybody see, we try new aero.
From Marquez, that puts him up into P4. What do we think, Si? What have we made of Marc Marquez's debut in the factory Ducati team? I mean, we always knew that he was going to just be sort of feeling his way in, learning new surroundings and then testing the new bike, but Mark's going to be such a big threat next season, isn't he? I mean, he's going to be a big contender.
Yeah, Tadozzi said to us about 12 o'clock before we saw any sort of progress, you know, proper. It was sideways steps, but recently they made some forward steps.
Yeah, let's hope that those steps continue to be made forward. Just there inside the factory Ducati garage, former world champion, I've got to get used to saying that, about Pecco Bagnaia. He was just going back out on circuit. We know that throughout 2024 there's been this new rider communication system that has been tested. You can see there was a wire connecting Bagnaia, so I think he's going back out.
It's not the same with Pirro,
yeah, some messages aren't there. He's just going to go out and test. A little voice in his ear, you know, things like red flag, yellow flag, etc. It looks like that's what Bagnaia is just heading back out on circuit for.
I watched Fabio Quartararo do that earlier. They had Sergi Sendra and everyone in the box, and a camera on the crew chief while he was talking to Fabio, while a few of the members were all listening to the communication back and forwards. So it'll be interesting to hear. This is great. We wondered why they were doing the 5 pumps of the clutch, you know, and I don't think they want to give away any little tricks that they've just the same every time. So the rider does the same thing and the bike acts the same, you know, because one little bit of air, or you know what I'm saying, in the system, it feels different, so reacts different.
There he is, the 89 with the number 1 sat between it, but will it be just the number 1 on the front?
How different did that feel?
Yeah, it felt very different, especially on the braking. Everything was a bit just, you know, out of the window what I'm used to. We have some catch up to do, obviously, to the factory boys, but I have to say, already for the first day, everything seems to be actually quite all right.
Thanks, Miguel.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was a good job. That was by the Portuguese rider. 60 laps he completed on his first stint on the YZR M1. As he mentioned there, some pretty notable differences between the riding style, between the inline four-cylinder, which Yamaha currently have. We do know that Yamaha are developing behind the scenes a V4 engine, but Oliveira, 140.138 was his best time, 17th on the standings.
And some same comments from him as we heard Jack Miller was saying, like apparently Jack was really focused
on so many occasions this year. I think Jorge's going to be very, very happy, very content, very satisfied. Yeah, there was the blip of the crash at turn 5, but he did 77 laps on that RS-GP, 11th quickest. I think if you'd have said to him before today, you're going to be a second off the best pace, and I think he would have definitely taken that. As Johann Zarco then comes to the grid, ready to full throttle, off he goes. Perfect. Bang on that wasn't it? It's Fermin Aldeguer then. This is going to be interesting. Eyes on stalks time for the rookie here, isn't it? As he has to contend with all the buttons, the devices. This is alien territory right now for Aldeguer. Let's see how he gets on with his first proper start on a MotoGP bike.
pretty good job.
It's like a seasoned veteran, wasn't it?
He's got to be happy with that for his first go.
Buzzing.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Somcat Chantra's just coming around the final corner. I'd like to see his, and if we can get a look through the visor of Somcat as he leaves the line, that will be quite entertaining. He is Raul Fernandez on the Aprilia. Just to his right, fellow Aprilia rider, world champion Jorge Martin. Marc Marquez looks like his work, as far as any sort of practice starts is concerned, is done.
I think Ducati Factory don't want to give away what the latest things they're doing for the starts.
Yeah, no sign of Bagnaia, no sign of Marc Marquez.
Yeah. So, oh no, they've got something new.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Marc Marquez saying his goodbyes until early February inside that factory Ducati garage. Here's Maverick Vinales on the factory KTM RC16. Pretty decent launch away from the grid for Vinales. Maverick finished 12th on the standings with a 139.887.
It's arguably the best bike off the line, isn't it, the KTM? They say the torque, the clutch, really, really good off the line.
Is that Frankie Carcelli looking inside the factory Ducati garage there? Seeing Marc Marquez have a chat there with Marco Rigamonti, who's got the sort of the quiff there, just leaning over the screen. That's Marco Rigamonti, who is now Marc Marquez's crew chief. Most recently worked with Enea Bastianini. Long time with Ducati has Marco been. Johann Zarco's crew chief as well, back in the day when he was at the old Ducati sponsor armour effort. All the way back he was crew chief, I think, with Andrea Iannone as well. As Marco Bezzecchi gets to sample the 84 laps Bez completed in that test. And a quick look at the timing screens, that was one of the highest. Ayagura, here he is, the Japanese rider. The rookies are absolutely nailing these starts, aren't they? Fair play to the rookies, nailing these starts. Ayagura did 86 laps on his MotoGP debut.
Just as you said that.
Oh, he smashed the screen, did he?
Yeah.
With his face.
Yeah.
He's a race, and
here we go.
I just thought, we have to change it, you know. So that's the clutch biting, and then he pulls the clutch back in there, bang, and it's done So I pushed really hard for this because the visors, our visors are shatterproof. Road bike screens, it's law to be shatterproof. We should have shatterproof screens, and from next year they will be.
Boy, Martin wins on the factory Aprilia, and he won't be bashing the screen anymore, really, like he does.
He can bash it as much as he likes. They just turn white. I've had a go at trying to break one from a crashed track day bike I had. You fold it in half, jump on it, and it just turns white. Nothing happens.
Marco Bezzecchi then. Second practice start on the factory Aprilia, and the initial launch away was very impressive once again from the 26-year-old Italian, who didn't really finish his Ducati spell with the Florix, did he? There was no top 6 in the last 5 Grand Prix for Bez. But as we mentioned, busy day at the office for him as Ayagura. Nothing's going to faze this young man. Nothing flusters the Japanese rider as he gets ready to unleash 300 horsepower on the track house Aprilia. Tell you what,
these young fellas, they pick up things quickly. Wow.
Well, they're the PlayStation generation, aren't they? They're used to all these buttons and everything, all the things you have to press and twist and levers and buttons. But got to say, Ayagura has absolutely smashed his 2 practice starts, unlike Fermin Aldeguer smashing his screen. That was a lovely embrace, wasn't there, as they came side by side in the practice start zone between Jorge Martin and Aleix Espargaro. Of course, such close friends, those two. And that is it. A year that started for Jorge Martin as a prima Ducati rider. It started with him aspirations of being the MotoGP World Champion. It was mission accomplished. Jorge Martin then completes the year of his life. He's the 2024 MotoGP World Champion. Let's quickly go down to pit lane though and grab a word with our ex-World Champion. How does he find the first day of 2025? I'm delighted to say Pecco Bagnaia joins Jack.
Yeah, he does. A very quick word with Pecco, our final word of the year. How was today?
Good.
How's the new bike?
Looks that they have a good potential, so we will work again in Malaysia.
In terms of the step, where has it been most successful?
The whole bike, but step by step, and don't have too much pressure.
Pecco, thank you. Enjoy Christmas.
Thanks very much then to Pecco Bagnaia. Pretty sure there Jorge Martin was just saying, the stoppy bellissimo on the Aprilia.
We did catch it, but it was in the background, and you were talking, I didn't say anything, but it was really long. We were looking at someone on the grid. He was coming to the grid just on his front wheel for ages.
Here it is into
No,
one.
we're not going to see the stopper here. Just
I think it's fair to say throughout day one he's had a permanent smile on his face, hasn't he, the new world champion? Just the kind of stress-free, drama-free day they've been looking for. And now it'll be up to the engineers back in Nawali to look at the numbers, look at the data as he goes side by side. I don't think it's for the last time between himself and Aleix Espargaro. I think Aleix Espargaro will be wildcarding for HRC next year, but this is just a couple of mates enjoying a bit of time in the sunshine, isn't it? The message on the visor. Well, he did everything right pretty much, didn't he, in 2024, Jorge Martin?
Did he turn the front device off halfway down the straight? Maybe he'd forgotten to turn it off when he came to the line.
Gotta say, well, of course, he was always going to have a big smile on his face, having won the World Championship a couple of days ago. But yeah, now it's time to sleep and go to the beach. Now it is time to really let it sink in and let it all soak up what he's achieved over the last few months or so. 26 years in the making has this World Championship been for Jorge Martin. He's had to go through some brutally tough times. Almost thought his racing career had ended before he'd even reached the Grand Prix paddock. But he crucially got picked up for the Red Bull Rookies Cup in 2011, back in 2012, and the rest, as they say, is history. Ayagura, 140.946. That's a good job. Just over 2 seconds away from Alex Marquez on the World Championship winning motorcycle. Excellent effort that by Ayagura, particularly when you think of the very, very cool conditions here in Catalonia, how easy it would have been, or how easy it was to lose the front and make an abundance of mistakes. As some shot that, isn't it? The sun setting off over nearby beautiful Barcelona.
So we're going to have to wait till Malaysia to see what I've heard is Ducati's very different aero package. So it makes sense, like we were just told, that we're going to wait till Malaysia, so less time for people to copy.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and obviously, like you said, Simon, the fact that Bagnaia and Marquez did not do practice starts on the start-finish straight suggests that Gigi Dall'Igna's got another few tricks in his box of magic.
Yes, something that he believed that maybe someone will see with a recording.
Yeah. Just while our coverage is nearing its conclusion and we all go off into hibernation for the winter, thanks to everybody who's played a part in making MotoGP once again the greatest motorsport show on earth in 2024. But most importantly, a big thanks to you, the fans, whether you've been on the edge of the seats from the sofa at home or watching trackside. It's you who make MotoGP the wonderful spectacle it is. We had a record weekend crowd in Le Mans, creating an unbelievable atmosphere, and a record season attendance. Over 300 million fans came through the gates. So what can we say other than a heartfelt thanks for your support, and we look forward to seeing you all again in 2025. And it would be remiss as Marco Bezzecchi waves goodbye to the Catalunya crowd for us not to say farewell, goodbye and good luck for one last time to our colleague Simon Crafar. Simon, thanks for everything, mate. You've been missed greatly in and out of the commentary box. As we mentioned on Friday, you took the MotoGP broadcast to a new level. We've seen the message from the fans. We know how much you are going to be missed. Thankfully, our paths are going to still cross throughout 2025 and beyond. But from all of us at the team here in Dorna and beyond in the paddock, thanks.
Thank you.
And good luck in the future, mate.
A big hug back, boys, and thanks for the nice signed picture you all gave me today.
Yeah.
Melted my heart. Really appreciate. And some support for the dogs. I really appreciate that.
No worries. I will just pass on. I did get a message from our former colleague, our commentary buddy Steve Day, who apologised for not being able to catch you over a very busy weekend here in Catalonia, but he has messaged to just pass on his best wishes for what lies ahead as well, mate.
Thank you all, and we all, I'm sure, look forward to another awesome year coming up of MotoGP.
Yeah, we can't wait. There we go then.
Just to drop in, thanks for all you taught me on the last year's guides. Really appreciate.
What a pleasure. We've learned a lot about cars and cooking as well over the past few years. Barbecues just are not going to be the same in the future in MotoGP. Jorge Martin then, as we mentioned, ends 2024 with a smile on his face on the factory Aprilia, 11th quickest, as he starts to plot the defence of his World Championship success. But it's Alex Marquez that takes the final top spot of 2024.
Yeah, the sun sets on 2024. Alex Marquez goes into the winter fastest at the Barcelona test. Fabio Quartararo for Yamaha and morale boosting second. The future factory Ducati teammates of Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez third and fourth. Raul Fernandez top Aprilia fifth ahead of Brad Binder, Frankie Morbidelli for VR46, Alex Rins, Pedro Acosta and Johan Zarco your top 10. World champion Jorge Martin 11th. Is that the last time for a year at least that we see him run the 89? Maverick Vinales on his KTM debut 12th ahead of Marco Bezzecchi, Aleix Espargaro and Joan Mir. Enea Bastianini had a big crash this afternoon, went back out on track and set the 16th fastest time. Miguel Oliveira for Pramac Yamaha 17th and seemed pretty happy when he caught up with Jack. Luca Marini 18th for Michele Pirro, and the first row rookies Fermin Aldeguer.
So that's it here in Barcelona. Thanks for your company as MotoGP 2025 starts with Alex Marquez fastest. We're back on track on February the 5th in Sepang. We hope you all have a wonderful winter, and we will see you for lights out for the sprint in Buriram on March the 2nd. Only 103 days to wait. We will see you in 2025 as MotoGP, I'm sure, will be back bigger, stronger, better than ever before. Thanks for your company in 2024. We look forward to doing it all over again next March in Thailand.